For the graph art project, the first thing you need are the essential documents. You can download each one of these individually, but you will need to reference them as you start to work through these other parts of the assignment. For the first one here, when you open it up, it is a review sheet. Make sure you do download it. Sometimes the equations and different sort of number things don't come through until you actually download it. So when you download it, you can save it anywhere and then go ahead and open it up. It can even open in Word or in Google Docs. So once you have this opened up, all of the formatting and all of the stuff will come through a little bit better. So this first one is just a review sheet. It gives you examples. It talks about the different boundary lines. It talks about why they're dashed versus solid, how to figure out which side of the line you shade on, and then it gives you kind of this helpful chart that shows you the main 4 examples of how to graph. So there's nothing you actually have to do on this worksheet. It is just something to look through and make sure that you understand. For the second one here, this is Review 2 Graphing Systems, which is the same sort of idea. Again, download it please. Don't just look at it in its original format, because all of the formatting issues will come through. So once you download this sheet, you can look. Again, this is review. It talks about the different boundary lines again and how to shade, and then it gives you some examples of systems where you're graphing multiple lines on the same XY coordinate. This example 2 shows you a graph of 4 different inequalities that are all graphed on the same coordinate plane. Example 3 shows you one where you have a couple diagonal lines mixed with a horizontal line, and it talks about how to do all of those. So again, this review worksheet is just to look at as a reference. Then you get into the actual project documents, which is Practice Worksheet 1 and Practice Worksheet 2. Again, make sure you download these, because if you do not download them to a Word version or to a Google Doc version, you won't be able to see some of the actual equations that appear on these worksheets. So once you download it, you'll see that you are graphing y is less than 3. Now it's up to you. If you're using Word rather than a printed version, you can do some of these using the features of Word, kind of putting in a line here at 3, and then you can put in like a box over where you're going to shade, or you can print these out and send me pictures. So this first worksheet has you doing just individual lines on each one of these. Again, I will take a printed version of this with handwriting. I will take pictures. You can either just graph these on regular graph paper and send them to me that way. That works as well. For Practice Worksheet 2, that is the other one that you have to turn in. Again, make sure you're downloading it each time to avoid any issues. And for this one, you are now graphing systems. So you can use that reference sheet to help you graph the systems, but for the first one, you're graphing 2 graphs. The second one you're graphing 3, and for the third one you're graphing all 4 on the same grid. Same with the fourth one, all 4 on the same grid. Again, you can print these out and handwrite them, or you can do them on your own graph paper, send me pictures, or you can try to use Word or another program that you have to graph. The last part of the project here does give you the rubric for what I'm looking for. Basically, I'm looking for accurate solutions, that it's organized, and that it's well done. The extension activity is the last part here, where you're doing an actual picture. So when you download this one, again, make sure you download it, can't say that enough. It gives you all sorts of things that you need to graph on the same piece of paper. You kind of need to be careful doing this, but for the first one you're graphing a lot of horizontal and vertical lines with a couple diagonal lines. It then gives you coordinates to plot, which helps form a picture, and you want to use like a black Sharpie or something to plot those points. These are just that, just points that you have to plot. And here's the second one. It gives you color shading and then kind of some shading by yourself. Keep in mind that when they have separators over here, these four things, you're only shading the intersecting region. You're not shading each one. So you graph all four of these and figure out where the overlapping shaded region is and graph. And extension 3 is the same thing, extension 4 is the same thing, and you can do these on your own piece of graph paper. You can print out graph paper online, or you can just do these by hand on a piece of paper, but I would highly suggest graph paper. And then go ahead and either submit by hand or submit online all the different pieces.